Something is very wrong here.
Hello, Stool with Matt and Nick.
But yeah, so like I always want to plan out my fucking phone calls, you know, so that they just, you know, they happen at a good time, and I like especially this will also happen, like if I call somebody and then they don't pick up, I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll probably try them tomorrow or something, and then I'll start doing something, and then they'll call you back like 10 minutes later, and it's like, well, now I don't want to fucking talk, I just fucking started doing something else.
Yeah, now I got shit going on, man. Like you have your chance.
Exactly. Like the moment the phone isn't picked up, I'm on to the next thing, you know. And it's like, okay, now I got to set up the whole next time. I'm gonna decide that I want to sit down and be on the phone for a half an hour.
Yeah, even if the next thing is, well, I just put on a YouTube video. It's like, well, nope, you missed your window.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not that shitty, actually. Like, if it's just a YouTube video, I'll probably...
Yeah, but I am a little bit like that, you know, just because it's like when I switch my mind onto what I'm doing, then that's what I'm doing. You know, so like I mentally prepare myself for a phone call, and honestly, sometimes I'll be like, oh, good, they didn't answer. I don't have to be on the phone, you know, and then I switch off phone mode, and I go into fucking, you know, whatever I'm doing next. I might just be, you know, well, I was going to say I might just be spanking it, but I'm definitely not fucking picking up the phone if I'm fucking spanking it. So actually, that's a good excuse.
Especially not FaceTime.
That's actually a good excuse.
Can you imagine if you were jerking off and someone tried to FaceTime you and you accidentally click the pickup button and you're just like, oh, no, wait. Hi, Grandma.
It's like a virtual grandma's boy situation. I can't stop coming.
You're just looking down the barrel, sweating.
I feel so good. I can't stop coming.
Well, okay, so imagine that happens, and you accidentally pick up the call right before you come. So like. Then that means that like you just came on your mother's face on your phone, so like now that's just going to be in your head for the rest of your life. Like, oh, God.
Well, also your mother's. I'd be more worried about how scarred she'd be. I mean, both people equally scarred on that, you know. But
well, at least it doesn't travel through the phone, and if they're developing that technology, don't. But, you know.
it'll be like the porn phone, like for when people just completely don't like do everything virtually and they don't really have sex anymore, but just for the real feel, there's like a little button you can get it to splooge.
Well, I mean, like, I guess there'd be people who want that, but like,
oh, of course.
Why you're just making more mess? Like artificial jizz? Why?
Butter, I don't know why, it's not artificial, but for some reason that just reminded me of the Sarcastaball episode with fucking Butter's gooey fucking, you've seen that episode of South Park, right? Where he thinks like his parents tell him that his nocturnal emissions are all his good feelings coming out, so he saves up all his jizz, and then they end up like turning it into a sports drink, and everybody's fucking drinking Butter's shit.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Man, it's been a hot minute since I've seen South Park.
Yeah, it's my favorite show, and I used to follow it to like if it moved to Hulu, so it's like, well, now I'm going to get a Hulu subscription, and then move somewhere else, you know, now I'm going to get a subscription to that, but now it's on HBO Max, and that's so goddamn expensive, but I actually did just buy it for a month just so I could watch some South Park. I was like, I'm going to drop the $15, because I watch some of those movies that they're releasing on there. I wanted to watch that QAnon documentary, even though I only made it like 40 minutes into the first episode before I had an anxiety attack. Just thinking about how crazy people are.
How long is that?
What's that?
How long's the
It's
doc? How long's the doc?
6-hour-long episodes.
Oh, Jesus, that's way too much. And so when you said you wanted to watch that night, and then like I texted you that like, hey, did you see that it's probably this guy? And you're like, God damn it!
Well, and it turns out that and maybe I shouldn't say this for anybody who hasn't, but I guess everybody knows about that news coming out now for the most part. But that actually, the whole documentary opens up with that guy. Like, that guy fucking, it starts, he's talking to his neighbors, and he's just like over at their house. It's this weird little shack, you know, and these people seem kind of interesting, like off a little bit, but whatever, fine. And he's just like, so what do you think about this QAnon stuff? What do you think about that? And they don't really know what he's talking about. And then he's kind of like, you know about 8chan? And they're like, I kind of heard of it. That's some sort of like website, right? Yeah. And then he tells him that he's the guy who started 8chan. And he's like, it's so funny. He's like, it's like, he thinks that he's like some, and I guess it's fairly big to start a website like that. I mean, it's worldwide known, but he's like standing there like, yeah, that's me. I'm the guy who started 8chan, like all fucking proud of himself to these older people who like couldn't give a shit less. But they're trying to be like, oh wow, that's so cool.
You programmed a forum. Good job, buddy.
Yep.
Granted, I couldn't do it, but
it was kind of weird because the way they show him talking about like the Q drops, and obviously like if he really is the one behind it, he's like pretty good at being sneaky and like lying and shit like that, of course. But like when he's like reading over some of those Q drops, it does seem like he's not the one who wrote them. That they're as surprising to him as they are to everybody else. So I don't know.
I do got to say, I think that the artificial jism that we were talking about earlier, that should be called Q drops.
Oh. Yep.
But I do digress.
I was trying to take that somewhere else, but I couldn't quite put it together.
Well, welcome back to the Loose Stool, everybody. Happy coming back from our nice little spring break.
It's fantastic.
So, we're just here, chatting.
And it's
see you sipping on something over there. What you got, buddy?
Oh man, I got my Red Hook, not the Big Ballard today. I'm drinking the Longhammer IPA, the green can. Not so intoxicating, but a little bit more delicious. I love it very much. Just like all Red Hook, you know. Just makes me feel all warm inside. But what you having?
Cool. I have the favorite, the Jim Beam, but I'm taking her easy because I don't know, man. I tied one on pretty good last night, like to the point where I forgot to set an alarm this morning, and thank God my boss is out of town. But I came in about an hour late for my route this morning, and let me tell you, like this is how much of a psycho I am. So like I'm super hungover, right? And I stop at the gas station to get a couple things, and I'm like, man, I could really go for a Bloody Mary right now. And so what I did is I just bought a bottle of Frank's Red Hot, and I was like sipping on it.
Oh my God!
Just to like get the sensation.
Oh my God!
I'm 100% serious.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
I don't know. But you know that is unbelievable. I mean,
did you ask the person at the counter for a straw? You know, you go out with your just bottle of Red Hot. You got a straw back there for me? Oh my gosh!
No, I kept that part of it to myself. You know, maybe they just thought I had some tacos.
Right. I will say I actually had the same. It's kind of funny you bring up the Bloody Mary because I had a Bloody Mary hankering myself this morning. It was more like this afternoon, so I was making some lunch and had a pickle with it, and I like took the first bite of that pickle spear, and it just made me think of a Bloody Mary, and I was just sitting there like, oh my God, I just want a Bloody Mary so bad right now. It'd be so fucking good. But unfortunately, I didn't have any. I guess I could have started sucking on the sriracha I got, but I didn't really consider that. You know, maybe thin it out with some water, make a nice little drink.
God.
You can say, oh, like
Now
what
you're
you were
making me
doing is like
grossed
so
out.
much better.
Well, but the way I think about watered down sriracha, like I don't think it would mix very well. So it would just be like
Chunks.
floating in little globules in there, and then like that.
You
Yeah,
probably
I
don't remember
know.
this, but when
That's
I
an
was
extra
a
thing
when
I
I was a
can't get
kid, there was a drink like that. I can't remember what the hell it was called, but it just had these little shitty balls of stuff. I wanted maybe it was called like lava or something. Oh man, somebody, one of our listeners who remembers this, one of our thousands and thousands of listeners who probably remembers, what this is, should write in and tell us what it is. Just kidding, of course, but yeah, it was the grossest shit on earth, but I fucking loved it when I was a kid just because it was, like, weird, and I just always remember going, and it just had these little floaty, nasty balls that were basically like boogers floating around in it, and, like, kind of like a crappy fucking juice, yeah. And I don't know if they were trying to take, like, the bubble tea idea. Yeah, I don't get it. But it was around for, like, a year, and I used to buy it all the time.
Well, like, because I'm not usually someone who's that bothered by texture, but like little like chunks in
a drink,
like liquid, that gets me. Like that makes me gag. Well, yeah, but yeah, that makes me gag. Like immediately, just the thought of that, like drinking something and like especially the way you describe it as little boogers in there. Like,
it's the best way I can think to describe them. I was having a hard time trying to think of like how I could really describe what, and they were like perfectly round. They weren't like flaky, so they're like little balls. But yeah, definitely, probably booger is the closest texture I can think to those. So that was pretty weird stuff for sure. Yep. I remember once I was at a restaurant, this like family restaurant. I think it was in Sheboygan. Probably not there anymore. I'm sure it wasn't. This is like 20 years ago or something. But we're at the table. It's like me and my dad having lunch. And we look at our sodas, and there's little shit floating around in them. And we, like, point it out to the waitress, and she goes, "Those are just floaties." Like, she, like, didn't accept our request, and it was fucked up. No, those are just the floaties.
Floaties of what?
They're the floaties.
Does your dishwasher not work?
I mean, she did eventually replace them. And then... the next ones didn't have these quote-unquote floaties in them. But yeah, those are just floaties. Like, it's supposed to be no big deal. Fuck you.
Ew, dude. Yeah, exactly. Fuck you. That kind of reminds me, my one of my grandpa's old, like, barroom jokes. Like, listening to my grandpa tell a joke is the funniest thing ever. Not because the joke is funny, but he'll just keep over-explaining every single aspect of it. And it's just, like, it's more fun to just, like, stand behind my grandpa and watch the faces of the people he's talking to just like slowly start frowning because he's just keeping them there. He had this older one where it's just about a guy going to a bar and asking for a glass of beer, and the glass comes and it's all dirty, and he says something to the bartender, and he's like, "Well, it's the best cold water can get it." He's like, "Oh, can I get another glass?" And like he gets another glass and still dirty, like, "Oh, the best cold water can get it." Speaking of, cold water, come here. It's like the dog's licking out the glasses, cleaning them. That's, like I said, they're not good jokes. But
yeah, that's a punny.
But imagine,
imagine
waiting 15 minutes for that punchline.
So then he just keeps going like,
grandpa's
so
like
you get it?
Norm Macdonald.
It was a dog. You understand? It was a dog that was licking out the glass. You understand that? Is that how it goes? See, I would have fun, and I would keep asking questions. Like, I don't get it. Wait, what do you mean? So he was using cold water, right? That doesn't clean the dishes good. So, yeah, I get it. No, it was the dog's name. What was a dog? What are you talking about? And just keep going. Just get really into it, see if you can get him angry about how he can't explain it correctly. I just still don't get. I don't get it.
I don't think he'd get angry. I think he'd keep entertaining it as long as he's still talking to him.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The challenge is, though, to see if you could get him to be frustrated. Yeah. Like, to the point where he's like, "How do you still not get the joke?"
Oh man! So what's going on with you, buddy?
Oh, not a whole lot. Had a pretty good couple weeks off. It felt pretty nice, to to take that time, refresh the thoughts and everything. But yeah, just working, doing my thing. It's turning into spring out here, which is lovely. It's getting a little bit